In episode 270, somebody had made a comment, and I misread it, and consequently I was giving out false information. I plan to correct that in this episode. We are actually still on step 51 here. Even though we did a lot of painting of parts for 52 yesterday, we're really got quite a bit to do on 51. Well, not quite a bit, but it's a lot of finicky stuff, like these little ladders or gangways. They've got to go in the proper places here. Yeah. It seems to me that when we did this a couple of months ago, I found it a little bit on the difficult side. Because the ladders are so light, they don't want to stay in place, and when you touch, the glue on the ladder, it wants to stick on the needle or whatever applicator I happen to be using. So I'm going to see if I can, think of a better way to do that this time. Okay, maybe I'll try and grab it with a different tweezer here. Okay, now that is pretty much exactly where it's supposed to go. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bump coming off of the deck there. And then there's another one on this side right here. That one you should be able to see. And that is where it's supposed to go in between. And it looks like it's about the right height. So if I could somehow touch a little bit of CA right there. How did I do that before? Did I maybe sort of tack it in place with extra thin and then put the CA on? Maybe that's what we did. Yeah, we did. That's right. We did the extra thin, and then we did the CA. Now here is something that I just thought of, and I've never done this before. Now this is the applicator out of the Sprue Goo bottle. Remember we saved it? And now that what happens is, let's assume it had extra thin in it. As soon as I touch it onto the deck, the extra thin very quickly flows out of the bristles and onto the deck and floods the deck. It's hard to put just a minute amount on. Now, this is the part that I've never done before. Would extra thin stay in that needle? Would it be possible to just put a very small amount, like right there, and have in that way it'd be a controlled amount? Let's give it a try. Okay, I know you can't see it, but I'm trying to pick some up on the needle now. Now, hopefully this is not going to evaporate before I get there. Doesn't seem to be wanting to come off. I'll get some more here. Well, I don't know if I got any under that stringer or not. Well, the idea was a good one, but it doesn't seem to want to work. Okay. Maybe I've got too much on the brush there. Well, that's the way we did it a few months ago. Maybe that'll be enough. We'll let that molten plastic solidify, and then we'll reinforce it with CA. On the other hand, maybe that might be strong enough. Okay, now we don't want to flood it all over the deck here. Just did I even get any on there? Oh yeah, I did know. I saw it actually wick its way up the planking there. Don't know if you saw that. Oh yeah. Well, that's going to evaporate, and it won't look as bad as it looks, if that makes any sense. Okay, I think it has to come back just a little bit at the bottom there. Maybe I could try and get it a little bit different here so I'm not going to be blocking your view. I think that's it. Okay, if we can glue it there, I think it'll look pretty good. I wonder if maybe it should be coming just a little bit further out. Move it on the bottom too. Oh. How's that? Yeah, let's try that. Now this, whoops, is it still in your field of view there? This time we'll try not to flood this so bad. It's hard to get the angle just right. Alright, we'll let that evaporate and see what we got. By the way, the other one that we put on a few minutes ago, it looks really good. I don't think it's going to need any CA glue. Now this is the same ladder or gangway, except it's on the other side. I wonder if these little brackets were supposed to be on top of the deck. On the other ones I had them, but then the top tread does not seem to line up properly. I can't see in real life it being like that. Oops. I'm gonna have to redo this. Okay, now that's pretty much the way the other two ladders were. It was leaning against this, not sitting on top. Now you notice where the extra thin sort of dissolved the paint on the bottom of that stringer, and it just flowed right down onto the deck. I hope I'm not blocking your vision here. Why is this not working here? I'm trying to hold the applicator with the tweezers. Oops. I think I'm going to have to move everything at a different angle. Now I realize it looks pretty much the same to you, but I've actually swung it around 180 degrees. I think I can get in here now. Now this one is going to be interesting. Not only is it an awkward angle to place and glue, it's almost impossible to get the whole thing in the camera's view at the same time. Okay, I think it has to go a little bit more like this. No? There. Okay, I think that's it. Let me check the monitor. That looks pretty good. Okay, we'll try and do the top first. Get the far one. Ooh, I bumped it. See if I can move it over straighter. That's not too bad. Okay. And once again, I think once that dries out. Okay, you can see the bottom of the ladder there. And I think I can get in from the other side, so we can both see it here. Did I touch it? It's hard to see. Let's see. I got it that time. At least on this side. On my side, but I don't think I got the stringer on your side, did I? Let me check the monitor. Oh yeah, maybe just a little bit. Well, let's leave well enough alone here. There is one thing that's for sure, and that is that we are making really good use of the macro lens in this episode. Now another sort of disclaimer here. I spent about 7 minutes trying to get this little ladder glued into place. I never had so much trouble with a little part as I did with this. Yeah, I've had entire episodes that lasted less than 7 minutes. So if you want to save yourself some time, just jump ahead. Now, in order to get these ones to fit where I think they're supposed to go, they have to be at a bit of a steeper angle, I think. Just having a little bit of a problem here. Maybe the other one will go better. You know what? I'm going to have to twist this around. It may not be as clear for you, but it'll be a lot handier for me. Okay, let's try it this way. Oh my goodness. I thought these little ones were going to be easy, but it's kind of hard to grab hold of it so that you can get it just at the right angle and then carefully release. If I could just push it into place there without it falling over. See, what's happening is the stringers have a tendency to catch in the planking on the deck. I almost have it, and I try to fix it, and I make it worse. I don't know how to describe this. It's sort of like trying to thread a needle. Sometimes you get it on the first try, and sometimes you won't. Okay, now I've almost got it. I just want to get it just a little bit over now. Now the bottom is too far in. I'm going to have all the paint scratched off of this yet. There. That's just about perfect. The ladder does appear to me to be just a little bit too short. Ah. Oh, for Pete's sake. I just can't release it and have it stay where I put it. All right. Just a tiny bit straighter now. Now, I don't know how it looks from your perspective, but it looks pretty good from my perspective. I think I'm going to just put a little bit of extra thin down there and sort of get it to stick in place. I think that's pretty good. Oh, it's moving on me. Try this again. Maybe I'll try this one first. See, I want to get enough on there that the plastic becomes liquefied, and then when it solidifies, a lot of it is going to have stuck on the photo etch part. Also, the paint seems to mix together. Now, it just isn't quite right at the top here, though. Can't get it to swing around. There, it's a little better. See, if the photo etch is not touching at the top, there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and do the other one, but I'm not going to video it because I spent, 5 minutes on this one? This is the worst it's ever been. Now, you remember my analogy that I used about threading a needle? Sometimes it goes right away and sometimes it doesn't. This one practically went right away. I should have done this one first. Now, I am wondering if I'm not going to be able to try out my new little pointy paintbrush here, to try and fix some of the bottom here, like maybe I shouldn't be touching that because I don't think it's quite cured yet or dried out. Anyway, now when we're looking at it through the macro lens, we can see that the gray from the stringer ran down out onto the deck here and sort of all around the deck. But when I'm looking at it like with normal reading glasses or something like that, you do not see that. Okay, now I gotta try and pull the bottom out without knocking the whole thing over. So let me reposition here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We'll do the top first because it's the easiest. Okay, once again, I'm going to try not to get in your view here. Now if I can reach around and do the far one. Well, that was way too much, but I think once that evaporates, it's going to look okay. Now I've done this ladder on this side exactly the same way. Only I think it went a little better. Now that does it for the ladders, companionways, or gangways, or whatever we want to call them. So yeah, we can move on now to the mast. About 5 minutes has passed now, and this last one that I just glued in there, the extra thin, will have evaporated, and I'm sure it's not going to fall out. But just for the fun of it, let's just check. Nope, they're all still there. Now our main mast here is made up of, I think, about 16 or 17 pieces altogether. And everything is painted on both sides now. So I want to be careful not to chip paint off. Or worse yet, break it. This one is going to be difficult to put on. So is this one. Now this little guy here is what I want to talk about. Okay, let's rearrange everything here and we'll talk about it. Okay. These pieces right here, Photo Etch D19, the four of them on the side, apparently they are the indicators that show which direction the rudder is positioned at. And I'm only guessing. I'm possibly giving out more false information here. There are four of them on all four sides. It is my guess that each one would swing out. Remember yesterday I was talking about how it seemed to be hinged at the top? Yeah, and I guess maybe it did, and they sort of swung out. And all four of them would swing out in unison, so that no matter how you looked at the ship, you would instantly know the position of the rudder. And you could then, pretty well predict which way it was going to go. To avoid collisions. Now, as for this wheel, I don't know what this does. I'm guessing again. I'm thinking that possibly it's connected to these four pieces that swing back and forth, and maybe that's what, I don't know. I really don't know what the wheel is. As one of the other viewers mentioned, shouldn't the wheel be on the inside? And to my way of thinking, yeah, it should be, because the guys would be standing on the inside. One of the viewers was wondering, how does he get into this thing? Well, you notice there's a little trapdoor on the bottom there. You climb up the mast. We'll be putting ladders on the mast here, and I don't know if we're going to get to do it today or not, but anyway, so I gave you false information there. It's not the wheel that they look at from other ships. It would be these things on the sides that would swing out. Anyway, so, sorry, Andy, I didn't read your comment properly. Now, the last time I tried this wheel on this crow's nest, this little pin, or I guess you call it a pin, would fit in this hole. But since then, we've painted everything. Still fits. Now, according to the manual here, the wheel goes on the outside, and it's at an angle like this. Now, I suppose you wouldn't have to have it like that, but that's the way we'll have it. Okay, we know that it fits. This is CA medium. It shouldn't take very much to hold it on. Okay, some of these pieces, they're going to be pretty easy to put on. You can't really go wrong, I don't think. Like this smallest one here. It's going to go something like this on this side. Okay, so we'd glue that one there. All right, then we turn this over. And, oh, wait a minute, this isn't the smallest one. This one goes here. This is the smallest one that'll go on the other side. Okay. Now the ones that are going to be, for instance, this doesn't glue on the mast. It's being held out somehow by this part right here. I want to check Stefan's drawings and see. I can sort of see how it's supposed to go here. It's going to be extremely fragile. Really fragile. Probably the most fragile part we have put on to date. Anyway, I think we've pretty much run out of time here for this episode. And this piece here, it also, it's this piece right here. Okay, this is this. And it's got to somehow be straight out. Anyway, like I say, I want to check Stefan's drawings and see what we've got going here in the meantime. Thanks for watching. All being well, we'll see you tomorrow. And we'll try not to spend 7 minutes putting on one little companionway.